What's up, duelists? 12 Days of Teledad finally returns. Your boy's finally feeling good enough to record this episode, and I feel like the list is close enough to where I can put it out there and feel confident that at least the core concept is decent. Once again, if you guys like the videos, make sure like and subscribe, all that stuff. And if you want to compete, come to RBET LA. It's almost sold out. You can find info on that in the description below. The mats have just been, oh, you know what, actually, I'll pull it up for you guys. I'll pull it up for you guys right now. Some of the top 8 mats have just been finalized, and I will pull that up for you guys here in a second. Let me just grab a new window and then pull up the image. But yeah, I gotta show you guys this. It's too cool. I didn't have it prepped. I'm sorry. Anyway, this build is really cool. It's like a Beast of the Pharaoh style build, and it works with the level 2 tuners to gain access to some powerful synchro plays. We'll get into that in just a second. I just want to show you guys this RBET map because it is fucking gorgeous. Hold, everyone, hold. All right, hold. Wait, patience. Oh my God, there it is. So this is the Fighters of the Underworld top 8 mat from RBET LA. Yes, the Messenger of Shadows. Some might call him the Messenger of Shadows, and his trusty sidekick. But yes, this is the one of the top 8 mats from RBET LA. It's got the iconic characteristics of the Messenger of Shadows. And yeah, it just looks gorgeous. It looks fucking incredible. I don't know what to tell you guys. This is going to be a can't miss event. There's only a few slots left. Make sure and sign up while you can. All right, getting into the deck. So the way this deck works, it may seem kind of unintuitive, but I'll show you guys in the practice room first before we get into the replays that I'm going to show you guys. But the way it works is we've got Call of the Mummy, which is this really unique card. There's only a couple cards like this. Valhalla is one of them. But Call of the Mummy is a little bit more unique than Valhalla because Valhalla is usually used to cheat out like big monsters. And while in this deck, we can do that with Illblood specifically, Call of the Mummy is more so like a combo initiator, combo starter, that sort of thing. So I'll go ahead and show you guys some of the combos that can come out of using Call of the Mummy. There is the obvious one, which is Call of the Mummy plus Beast of the Pharaoh plus any tuner. So we'll go ahead and put this guy back, and we'll put this guy back, and we'll go ahead and grab our 2 other combo pieces. Let's go with Deep Sea Diva because it's more simple to explain. All right, so the general concept is this, and let's just grab a random 6th card. Cool. We can go for Call of the Mummy if we're going second, or we can go for Armageddon Knight or whatever. But the idea is that you would go for like something like Heavy Storm, Call of the Mummy, and had we gone first, the Armageddon Knight would have sent Plague. We could have set up for a different style of OTK. But yeah, you'll special summon Beast of the Pharaoh, normal summon Deep Sea Diva, activate Diva, and special Diva, synchro into the Gishilnodon, activate the Beast of the Pharaoh, special summon the Beast of the Pharaoh, synchro into the second level 5, which is usually Gishilnodon if you have an extender. If you don't have an extender, you just make Android or Catastor here, and then special summon out the Beast of the Pharaoh again. And you end up a card, which is pretty cool, and you get some big monsters. So it's a pretty solid combo. The reason we're using this over Pyramid Turtle is because if we're ever resolving Pyramid Turtle, we're never not getting the Goblin Zombie. We're never not going to go for Goblin Zombie if we're resolving Pyramid Turtle. The nice thing about Call of the Mummy is you can do all of that from nothing in play. You can do all that turn 1, turn 2, whenever. You can just kind of like just throw it on the board whenever you want to. You don't have to resolve a Battle Recruiter to get your combo started. So that's why we're not using Pyramid Turtle. You could make an argument to still use Pyramid Turtle in a deck like this, but I think that maximizing Call of the Mummy plus Beast of the Pharaoh, they have slightly better synergy than using stuff like Pyramid Turtle. And I also think Pyramid Turtle doesn't really line up super well against decks like Frogs. Whether this deck does well against Frogs or not, that's totally arguable. But that's the general concept. The concept is that Call of the Mummy works with our 5 non-tuner material, 6 if you count the Mizuki, 7-8 with the Zombie Masters, and with the triple Illbloods, a little bit better than Pyramid Turtle might in some circumstances. And it also makes the deck very threatening from nothing in play. There's a bunch of other custom combos you can do with Call of the Mummy, which makes it a really exciting deck overall. We are on triple copies of Zombie World. This will allow the Beast of the Pharaoh to extend into anything. Usually Armageddon Knight, he's our premier turn 1 play. Armageddon Knight turns all of your telekinetic power wells into additional E-Teles. So if you get an opportunity to summon Armageddon Knight at any point, for the rest of the game you get to play with 4 E-Tele, which is pretty strong. Or you can use him to send like Illblood or Plague to set up other plays that way, or to set up your Dark Arm Dragon. As far as like Teleport, Diva, and Powerwell go, these cards all feel so unbelievably busted in this deck that you just want to play the maximum number. Triple Diva, triple Krebens, 1 Teleport, of course, because it's limited, and then the triple Powerwell. It's just fantastic in this deck. Sangin, he's kind of jank, but he gets you into everything else, and he's like positive value to synchro with. Plus, he can like open up and like poke at Raikos and stuff, which is fine. Double Zombie Master, it's incredibly good with Zombie World. Obviously, you can take any monster. Same thing with Illblood. Cool thing about Call of the Mummy and Illblood is that you can special him out and then normal him and immediately get his effect, which is pretty cool. And then comboed with Zombie World, you can do that to steal your opponent's monsters, because he can take monsters from either graveyard, which is really cool. So you can take like your opponent's bombs, either Synchro monsters or Christias or stuff that they've milled or whatever, Siroko's against Blackwings. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with Call of the Mummy into Illblood. And so far, after playing this deck, that has felt like kind of the best part of the deck. Has been the Call of the Mummy into Illblood and the Armageddon Knight setting up the Power Wells. That's felt like the strongest core part of the deck. The weakest part of the deck, ironically, is the Beast of the Pharaoh part of the deck. And while Beast of the Pharaoh is good, and he does have a lot of OTK setups in this build, it's often the card I find myself reaching for when siding out. It's not a dark for Dark Arm Dragon. It doesn't really necessarily work unless you have specifically Call of the Mummy or E-Tele. And it's just a little bit of a clunky card in general, but a good card nonetheless. Definitely a good card. The sideboard, we have Double Dyna. This is a card that you want to abuse with the Zombie World. You can keep bringing it back over and over again. It's also like a sweeper versus Amaryllis, which is a tough matchup. Double Exiled Force. This card is great with Zombie World. Of course, you can just keep reusing it as a monster pop over and over again. Same thing with Gale. It's reusable with Zombie World. That's kind of like the idea here with all these cards. Plus, Exiled Force and Gale give you outs to annoying cards like Consecrated Light, Vanity's Fiend, that sort of thing. Triple Book of Life. This is for decks that are proactively setting up their graveyard. You could argue most decks do, but this card is pretty low impact against anything that isn't frogs, so I don't start it. Usually only bringing back one body is going to lead you to a -1 somewhere along the way. Giant Trunade and Triple Trapstun for heavy back row. 1 Regeki Break. This could arguably be something else, but as of right now, it's 1 Regeki Break. 1 Trap Dust Shoot and 1 Gorge, which I never side in, so you could probably just cut this entirely. The extra deck is the biggest issue with this deck. I want to fit different cards in this deck. I want to play this deck differently, and alas, you just don't have space for everything. You only have space for the exact things that you need. I've considered cutting Mistworm and adding Blackroot Drago, but in my testing of earlier builds, I didn't have Mistworm and I needed it. So I was like, okay. I've had multiple instances, even in these replays I'm going to show you guys, where Thought Ruler does come up, so I definitely miss Thought Ruler. I have had instances where Doomkaiser comes up and Revive King, so like you kind of need both of those. And the whole Beast of the Pharaoh OTK takes double Gish, so it's like, what do you do? What do you do? There's just nothing you can cut. It's really, really unfortunate. This deck would be so much better with like 20 extra deck slots, which is crazy to say even in Edison format. So yeah, pretty insane. But yeah, check out the mats, RBET. Let's get into the replay. So the first replay is up against Welchi. Hopefully I can show you guys a little bit of what this deck does. He gets the rock, paper, scissors win, so that's pretty tough. But our opening hand is like, oh no, we get the rock, paper, scissors. I don't know what I'm fucking talking about. Opening hand's pretty good. We allure, we find Powerwell. So we've got Krevens plus Powerwell. That's a pretty good setup. Just banish the Illblood here because we don't have Call of the Mummy. And then I'll just summon Krevens and pass. Trying to set up for like a play for next turn where we can like mind control or something. I could have held the Krevens too. Could have been fine. He starts off with Valhalla. So he's playing a similar strategy. He's going to special Air Knight and he's going to brain and sack for a second Air Knight. So I'm just like, fuck me, I just lose. He draws into 2 new cards here. So it's a really, really strong start from the opponent. We have comeback plays. We have potential here, but he does dust shoot us. Thankfully, our hand is pretty resilient to dust shoot. We have 2 of these non-tuner bodies that multiply, and he's gonna be able to take the Goblin Zombie. But as long as we fade something too crazy from the opponent, like Christia, we should be okay. And even Christia's fine. We draw Call of the Mummy, so we can use it to special out Beast of the Pharaoh. I consider maybe holding the Call of the Mummy. It might have been a little bit easier because we are gonna normal summon. We haven't used our normal summon yet. There's really no reason to like play the Call of the Mummy if I'm gonna have a board out. So it might be better to hold it for like a Plague Stack or Bionic use later. But I decided to play it. I don't know why. I just wanted to show it off. Yeah, Synchro, Mind Control, Synchro into Black Rose. Don't use the effect. I could have done a billion different things this turn. I could have like not Foolish. I could have just Power Well, Mind Control, Black Rosed him. There were a bunch of different things I could have done. But I figured if I have Pressure plus Catastor, it might be a little bit difficult for him to win. That was kind of my goal here. It was just establish Pressure plus Catastor. Honestly, though, I think I don't know. He ends up having Christia. He uses the Alchemist. He digs to Mirror Force. He runs over the Beast and the Black Rose. Thankfully for us, All I Have Justice gets us where we want to go. But we can't kill the Christia because then he'll just ram the Alchemist and he'll be able to special the Christia at +1. And it gives him more digs to find the Herald of Orange Light. So I clear the Alchemist first while he has no targets. I could have Heavy Storm too, but it only hurts me to Heavy Storm here. More consideration to the fact that I should have held the Call of the Mummy. He summons Alchemist, and he does hit the Herald of Orange. Perfect timing on it, too, because it's right as he's going to 4 fairies. So he's going to Alchemist, add back the Herald. And he decides to actually attack with the Christie and Herald me now. He didn't need to do this at all. Actually, I think this is a losing play from the opponent. Because if we do play something like, I don't know, Lightning Vortex, for example, because some decks mean that. I don't fucking know. Let's say we did play that. And he Herald is the ally now. If we Lightning Vortex him, he won't get the value. I guess he has Valhalla anyway, so it doesn't really matter. He's super far ahead, basically. He passes back, we draw Goblin Zombie, and he draws, and he's got Mausoleum into Tethius off the top for lethal. So, pretty tough. I can't lie, pretty tough game 1. He kind of had it all. He had the payoffs, he had the Valhalla, we didn't have the interaction. We don't play Mystical Space Typhoon in this deck because it's too low impact. So yeah, sideboarding, we brought in our outs to Christia, Exile Force, Regeki Break. I also draw into Zombie World, so this card is really good against fairies, generally speaking. I set the Regeki Break, I normal Diva, and I special Diva from the deck. So my plan here is to hopefully just survive with a Diva in play so that I can summon Illblood next turn. It's kind of my plan. He summons Alchemist, he activates the effect, and I decide at this point that I'm going to use the Regeki Break on the Alchemist, and I decide to keep the decide to discard the Power Well because the other 3 cards are pretty useful. Because I just don't want him to kill one of my Divas. I want to make a Black Brute Drago. It's one of the better threats against his deck because he can't get over it on the attack or defense side. And even if he does clear it, we get a float back into Illblood and we can keep playing that way. We draw into a second Zombie World, so instantly punished for discarding our Power Well. But we have a backup Zombie World in case he destroys it. Plus, it's nice. Zombie World here will prevent him from going Brain Control on my guy and then Tribute Summon Air Knight Parshath or Tethius. He'll have to Tribute Set it. So, worst case scenario where he does have Brain Control plus the Tribute Summon, he'll have to set the monster and we'll have another turn to figure out how we want to deal with it. Activate the Zombie World. This does get owned by Mausoleum, obviously, but it is what it is. He sets back row, passes back. I have Goblin Zombie. His back row is Heavy Storm. So he did have an out to the Zombie World, but he just didn't have a play into the Brute Drago. Let's see what he had. Yeah, pretty bricked hand here. Might have even wanted to keep the Heavy Storm in hand. No real reason to set it. There's a chance that... I don't know. I just don't know. I pitch an Illblood to pop it, I guess. We end up milling Mausoleum, which is really funny. But he would have not been able to use it anyway because he's at 900 after the Brute Drago attack. And as you can see here, like, my favorite parts of the deck have just been using Illblood to summon Brute Drago and just being like, alright, deal with this, and then just rebuilding the next turn. I've actually found that this is quite successful, and I think that there's very likely some type of like Illblood mid-range deck with like Call of the Mummy, Zombie World, Supervise, Deep Sea Diva, and Power Well. Like, basically this exact same deck, but with none of the Beast of the Pharaoh shit in it. Like, just a totally different style of build. And it could be really, really strong just to spam Brute Drago over and over again. This card's really good. 3,000 attack is huge. Floats into another one, also huge. It's like, if I had to compare it to something, it's like Scrap Dragon, almost. Like, not as good, obviously, but it's up there, you know? It's really, really strong. Anyway, this time we open up with the Beast of the Pharaoh combo, which is very lucky. He starts off with Summon Alchemist, so I'm pretty happy that he has no Christia turn 1. We draw into Dark Arm Dragon, and this is the awkward part about Dark Arm Dragon in this deck as well, is that when you do have your combo, it sets up no darks for Dad. So, again, I think the Illblood style build with just the Illbloods would be better than using the Beast of the Pharaoh with this, but the fact that we've tried this in some capacity, it led us to discover how powerful an Illblood style deck could be, you know? Special Summons Beast, Normal Summons Diva, and we are going to go for a mini little combo here. Synchro into Gish, Special back the Beast, Synchro into Ally, Special back the Beast, and then our character goes to 3,000. So we pop the Alchemist. He's able to add back the Hecatrice, but we can now attack for 3,400, which is good damage. It's honestly good damage. And we have the Ally in play, so it's like, it's good damage. And if he has something like, let's say, Valhalla into Baby Air Knight, he attacks over Beast, sure, but then we have 2 really powerful things we can do next turn. You know what I mean? We have 2 really powerful monsters. We can start to maybe use our Gale or whatever. So, yeah. Guy gets weaker. Hecatrice pitches, grabs Valhalla. He activates Valhalla, specials out the Tethius. Then he specials out Sopal. I never liked using Sopal in these types of decks. Mostly because, like, what is it doing here? Like, what does summoning it do for you? You can't special it off of Valhalla, so it only bricks like it did for him last game. You don't have great ways of loading up your graveyard because you're not milling. Like, wouldn't it be better to just have a different card here? Like, literally anything else? Wouldn't that be better? I don't know. Anyway, he pops the Dragon Lord Gishilnadon, and he pops the Beast of the Pharaoh. Smart attack order from him. If he'd attacked the Beast of the Pharaoh first, then Gishilnadon would have actually gone to 3,000, and he wouldn't have been able to get over it. So if he had attacked in the wrong order there, we would have cooked him. But smart from him. A lot of people don't realize that Gishilnadon will do this whenever any level 3 or lower, even the opponents, get sent to the graveyard, and at any point, like on their turn or your turn or whatever. So we draw into Exile Force, which is beautiful. It's now to Consecrated Light. I also think Consecrated Light is a bad card. I cite it in some decks. Arguably Machines, I like citing it in Machines. I like citing it in decks where your opponent isn't expecting it. But it just doesn't do anything. It's like a really, really mid Floodgate. Like, look at the situation. Like, he needs to deal with this Ally of Justice. This could have been a card that dealt with the Ally of Justice. Could have been a Book of Moon or something like that. I do discuss sideboarding strategies with my opponent after this because I've played the Valhalla deck a bunch, and usually what people will do against me is just make a fucking Catastor because this card solos this deck and force me to draw the out. And when you're drawing sideboard cards like Consecrated Light that doesn't impact the game at all and doesn't even deal with a Catastor, it's like, why are you even siding the card? If it's not doing anything, why are you siding it? If it's not like, I don't know how to say it. Like, even if I didn't draw the Exiled Force here, it's a total stalemate. Like, I still have time to draw the Exiled Force. I have multiple turns, right? Summon Exile. Attack the Consecrated. If he wants a 2-for-1 himself, use Honest here, then that's fine. I thought about not doing this and just popping one of his guys. But I decided that clearing his whole board is pretty strong. He hits the thinking here to, like, bluff Honest, but I'm like, if you had Honest, you would never use it because, you just wouldn't use it. There's no reason to use an Honest here. Take 1,000, attack the Tethius, pop the Tethius, pop the Sopal, pass the turn back. And you can see the value of Exile Force here. That was pretty strong. Solid 2-for-1 from our boy. I love this card. I actually used to hate this card. I used to think it was shit. And the more I play with it and play against it, the more I like it. Shout out KJH. Kalindi was the first person to use this card against me, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? It's kind of good. This card's kind of good. Priority out anything is just pretty nice. It's a nice effect. You can pop set monsters. Not a lot of cards can do that. It's like searchable off Rhoda, which is nice. If you have some sort of like way of either searching it or abusing it, let's say like banishing it for Gigantes or something like that, or like you're a warrior deck that's trying to make Colossal Fighter and you want to pump up your Colossal Fighter, I don't fucking know. But if you play Rhoda, this card should be on your radar. It's actually pretty nice. It's pretty nuts. I like it a lot. Runs over Consecrated too. Like I feel like siding this in Black Wings is pretty nice. You like run over a Consecrated, then pop something else, like a nice little 2-for-1 with the Exile Force. Especially if you're playing Hybrid Wings, you can Rhoda for it, which is really cool. So pass the turn back, he draws Air Knight, and none of his shit beats Catastor. So yeah, normal. He's trying to find his Herald of Orange Light, trying to dig to it, but can't get lucky twice. That's all I'll say. I decided to just pop the Sky Paladin. I want to keep his Valhalla dead main phase 1 if possible. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to do. I mean, it's all the same, right? Like, yeah, definitely. If I wanted to keep it dead main phase 1. It will give him an extra opportunity to dig to Herald of Orange, though. Maybe I should have cleared both. I don't know. I decided to set Goblin Zombie because I figured it would be a little bit safer. My number one concern here is that he would find another Consecrated, but Goblin Zombie searches Mizuki, and then we could just run it over, so it doesn't matter. He hits the Giant Trunade, he sacrifices for Parshath, he tries to draw into something that'll deal with the ally. Honestly, probably not a great play here. He probably should have just, switched the Alchemist to defense and waited. But, yeah, he's going to draw into Hecatrice. We're going to go ahead and search Zombie Master. Main phase 2, he uses Hecatrice. This is generally a misplay because his only way of coming back into this game is Herald of Orange, and he has no fairies. So he needs to hold this in his hand. So if he top decks Herald of Orange, he can actually pop the ally. We draw into Foolish Burial. Normal Summon Zombie, pitch. He crows it. That's fine. Pop his guy. Attack for 18. Main phase 2, pass the turn. I could have activated Foolish Burial there to send Mizuki, but I maybe wanted additional top decks that could out a Consecrated Light. So I didn't do that. He activates, he specials out Christia, and I'm like, fuck. But thankfully at this point he has a billion fairies in his grave, and Catastor still just beats Christia, so he's able to run over the Zombie Master, and we top deck Brain Control. That being said, we would have been okay here. We probably would have just summoned Gale, attacked with Ally, attacked with Gale, and then next turn, attack with Ally, main phase 2, special Dark Armed, blow up his Valhalla and stuff. And that's just winning, so yeah. Overall, not the best first match showing, but it can show you some of the grind potential of like putting up that Diva Beast of the Pharaoh combo early and sort of forcing your opponent to deal with it. And if they can't really deal with those monsters that stick around, then you can kind of run away with the game just based off that pressure alone. So, not a terrible showcase, but just not the best, I think. Next match is up against Nawatari, who is playing Frogs. This matchup I think is bad. I don't know why, but I think it is bad. We start off with Allure and we find Armageddon Knight. So this is going to show you the power of Armageddon Knight in this deck. It's really good. So we summon Armageddon Knight, send Krevins, because we have Power Well. Usually you send Krevins with this. Just almost always, because you want top deck Power Well to be good. Set Power Well and pass. So now we have a chainable back row that can bring back Krevins, which is really nice. We have multiple combos, like Looming. He's got Substitoad, he's going to go into swap, and then he's going to Water Art us, which is really annoying. So he Water Arts us. And then he decides to take Diva, which makes sense. It's the only double tuner that he knows about, and it's the only tuner that he knows about. He doesn't know about the Power Well. So, makes sense. We summon Beast of the Pharaoh, because if Beast of the Pharaoh dies here to like Torrential or Mirror Force, then we can always bring it back with like Zombie Master, pitch Mizuki, and then Power Well, and then start a combo that way. We attack for 1800 here, set the Decree, and pass the turn. End phase, he Regeki breaks our Decree. And I've never been more happy, because Diva traded with 2 cards, and Decree traded with 2 cards. And that's probably the best that Decree's ever going to get against Frogs. I mean, if he was going to be forced to Regeki break the Decree, why would he not Water Art it? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I don't get it. Anyway, he has Thestalos, which is pretty fucking good here. And he hits a 50-50 right, which is so annoying. I think this is a game-winning 50-50 hit. So, alas, here we are. He attacks the beast. We take damage. We draw into Plague. Pretty strong. Normal Mizuki. Power back the Krebins. Synchro into Goyo Guardian. Mizuki back the Zombie Master. Zombie Master pitch. Special Plague. Steal the Thestalos. Attack directly with the Plague. And he drops Battle Fader. So at this point, I can put up 3 threats. He will need a Steal effect and a Monarch off the top, or vice versa, in order to come back into this game. Because I can put up 3 threats. I can put up the Thestalos, the Goyo, and whatever I synchro with. And he only has 2 cards. So he needs his 2 cards to specifically deal with 2 cards. One of them needs to deal with 2 cards, which is pretty difficult unless it's specifically a Steal effect. He could steal Goyo, Goyo will steal the other one, and then sack that for a Monarch to out our last threat. We'll still have Plague in the grave, though, plus Armageddon Knight, so we can maybe try to make a comeback play happen. I don't know. We'll see. I synchro into Revive King, but yeah, if he has specifically Steal effect plus Monarch, we're kind of boned here. And guess what he has? Oh my god, that is so fucking annoying. Actually, really, really annoying, but it works out well for the opponent. Enemy controllers takes Goyo. And then he decides to take Armageddon Knight, which doesn't make any fucking sense. I actually don't understand why he takes Armageddon Knight here. He should have taken Revive King. Why would you not take Revive King? What? Like, and then Ryza the Thestalos. And then we just have Armageddon left over. And we can't do anything about a Monarch. Why would he not? I don't understand that at all. Anyway, he takes the Armageddon, sacks for Ryza, hits the Revive King, and then passes. And now I just have, like, plays, which I shouldn't have had. I misclick here and attacking the Armageddon Knight, and I'm like, oh, I misclicked. But I don't know. It felt like he would be the type of guy who would not let me take it back, so I just passed back. He top decks Battle Fader, switches the Ryza, we top deck Diva. So, really frustrating that he had a perfect top decks, but he also misplayed, so you win some, you lose some, right? Attack the Ryza, attack the Fader. Yeah, we wouldn't have attacked the Treeborn there, but I don't think it would have mattered. Anyway, here comes Treeborn, he passes back, attack. This is actually a greedy as fuck attack here, because if I attack with this Diva and he has Steal effect, he wins. I attack for 25, he draws, and it's Soul Exchange. And I'm just like, dude, he top decks hella well. It's a 4 out of 5 hits, like perfect. It's exactly what he needs to play the game. And he rips the last Power Well, which I didn't set. I should have set it. The fact that I didn't set it is just really, really bad. I top deck Royal Decree, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck is going on? Anyway, he attacks the Diva. I'm like, give me something good. I draw Zombie World. Any non-tuner there would have been good. Literally any non-tuner the last turn would have been good. Or this turn. Fucking ridiculous, man. We draw Ill Blood after we've already lost all our guys. I'm just like, alright, I'm dead on board. So, pretty unlucky. He top decked pretty well, and we lost game 1. Also, we went 17 cards into our deck and didn't see a Zombie World, which we do main deck, which absolutely fucks this deck. Anyway, just a little unlucky, but it is what it is. Game 2, I've got pretty strong start. I've got Call the Mummy into Illblood, and like I said, I've been really impressed with this specific interaction. So Call the Mummy, special summons out Illblood, normal summon Fossil Dyna. Seems pretty fucking good, right? Normal Swap Frog, send Treeborn, activates Creature Swap, but I've got another guy in play, so he attacks over the Swap Frog and passes a turn back. We draw Power Well, so really, really strong card here to draw. Normal Armageddon Knight, send Goblin Zombie, and if we draw Zombie World at any point, we can just bring back the Fossil Dyna, which is really nice. So, yeah, having access to, like, these strong, like, sideboard monster effects that you can spam with Book of Life under Zombie World is very high value in these matchups. Main phase 2, I just Book of Life out the Goblin, E-Telly out Krebins, and then Synchro, because I want to get my hand empty in case he fucking Thestalos me. Pass the turn back. He sets back row. I decide to just normal Illblood, special Goblin Zombie, attack. He's got Fader, pass the turn back. He sacks for Caius. He targets the Goblin Zombie. I don't really know why you would not target Goyo unless you had specifically a way to steal it here. So he banishes our guy, runs over the Illblood. We take 300. He passes back. We draw Beast. Normal Armageddon, send Krebin. So his back row's Regeki Break, and I'm going to play around that. So I activate Telekinetic Power Well, bring out double Krebins here, synchro with the Goyo Guardian and Stardust. So this is our trading with his back row card. Stardust will trade with the back row. Then we synchro into Bryonic. Bryonic pitches Mizuki, bounces Caius the Shadow Monarch. And now we have game? No, we don't have game. Do we have game? I don't fucking remember. Mizuki, banish, bring out Illblood. I think we do. Hold on. Let me do this right. Yeah. We have game. We have 5,800 while negating his back row. So, yeah, this is game through Mirror Force, Regeki Break, and all that jazz. So, yeah, we are able to attack for game there through the Regeki Break. That's the power of, like, the hands where you have, like, Armageddon, Illblood, Call the Mummy, that sort of thing. And so I'm starting to think that should maybe be, like, the core of the deck. And we should even play Rhoda on top of that. Because those are the games where the deck seems the most impressive. Those are the games where, like, the deck seems like, oh shit, this is actually fucking gasoline. Anyway, he starts off with Subsitoad, grabs Swap Frog, and sends a guy, and then doesn't bounce the Swap Frog. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are we not bouncing Swap Frog? Maybe he's, like, scared of an OTK. That should be a tell he doesn't have Fader. He has double Junk Synchron, which is crazy. But yeah, we got Dyna, attack over the swap, activate Zombie World, and pass. So here he could summon the Junk Synchron, just run over the Dyna. That's pretty fucking good. But then we'd be able to Book of Life it back. He draws into Regeki Break, which is a really, really busted draw for him because it'll allow him to break the Zombie World, which is really what's holding him back this turn or this game. We draw into Krebins, and I heavily deliberate here holding on to the Krebins because if his back row is Regeki Break and he Regeki Breaks the Zombie World and he's able to clear the Dyna, then it'd be nice to still have the Krebins plus the Mind Control. Like, let's say he like Regeki Breaks and he Soul Exchanges into a Monarch. That's kind of what I'm thinking, right? It'd be nice if the Krebins wasn't banished off like a Caius or something. Anyway, I summoned the Krebins because I figured there's a good chance his Monarch's either Ryza or Thestalos, which won't work anyway. So, yeah, we attack for 12 and then attack for 12. So we get 2,400 across, pass. And he decides not to use his Regeki Break yet. In the draw fair, in the main phase, he uses Regeki Break on Zombie World. And I'm like, okay. So that means he has Soul Exchange. He decides to go Soul Exchange, target Dyna. I think this is a mistake. But maybe he was scared of Power Well because we showed it both the last two games and he just wanted to kill the Dyna. He's going to put the Krebins back on top. We draw into Krebins. We're able to Mind Control and normal Krebins. And this is where having Thought Ruler would have mattered so fucking much. But we just don't have Thought Ruler in our extra deck. So we have to make fucking Stardust Dragon. Having Thought Ruler here would have been really good. In case he had like another steal effect. We both know that he has multiple Junk Synchrons in his hand. But I don't know this at this point. So like this is an instance where I'm saying like if you were to build this deck like an Illblood deck with like Call of the Mummy and Zombie World and shit. Have Thought Ruler in your extra deck, basically. I attack for 12, attack for nothing else, Synchron to Stardust. I could have also made Colossal here to play around Junk Synchron, but I figured if he had Junk Synchron, he wouldn't have wasted a Soul Exchange. He would have, like, just summoned it and attacked over the Dyna. So I don't fully understand my opponent's sequencing here, but it ends up working out really well for him. He synchros into Goyo Guardian. He attacks over the Stardust and takes our Stardust, which sucks. Sets back row, so he top decks an interactive piece, which is really fucking unlucky for us. And it's super unlucky for us that it's specifically enemy controller, and we'll get into why later. On his turn, he top decks Swap Frog. He intentionally misses lethal. I don't know why. He could have just summoned this, made fucking Android, and attacked for game. He's got 53 here, plus Android's 24 is exactly 77. So not doing that is just punting. He attacks. So yeah, we would have lost this game had he just done that. He leaves the Swap Frog in play, so this is kind of a tell that it's over, but I did top deck Call of the Mummy, which is pretty cool. So I at least get to showcase how I could have come back into this game with Call of the Mummy. Call of the Mummy, special summon Illblood, normal summon Deep Sea Diva, special Deep Sea Diva, and here he's going to be able to enemy controller take the Illblood, and it's going to be too hard for us to win. Like, we can't Book of Life because we have no zombies in our grave. The Zombie World got popped, sadly. And, yeah. I don't love running out Zombie World before we're able to get value for it, but sometimes you just have to do it. And he did have a good series of top decks, plus, like, his hand was really nice. It was, like, a good configuration of, like, Junk Synchrons and Monarchs and just the right amount of frogs. Like, he didn't brick on any frogs or anything. He didn't draw any fucking creature swaps or battle faders or, like, those types of cards. Or water arts, or like cards that would have done nothing against us. He drew basically all the perfect cards to actually handle the situation that was in front of him. So despite us having like some decent draws here, we had the Dyna, He had some decent draws in order to come back from that. So, yeah, good shit, good game. And I think, like I said, like I want to go back to the drawing board real quick with this. I think if you were to like take these out and like make it a much more like Illblood focused deck, like reinforcement of the army, maybe one less diva, even, and maybe play like a Greffer or something. I don't fucking know. Maybe main deck some amount of the Book of Lives, and then maybe main deck Supervise. This card's fucking good. Maybe main deck Pyramid Turtle, and you could even play like over 40. It wouldn't be the weirdest thing, because the deck has so much redundancy. But like maybe like one Pyramid Turtle, 2 Pyramid Turtles, something like that. Maybe 3 Pyramid Turtles. Who fucking knows? Just cut this fucking card, man. It's so ass. I think something like this could be really fucking strong. Like when I'm looking at it like this, I'm like, damn, this looks disgusting. Like, look at this. This is fucking nuts. This is fucking nuts, man. Yeah, this looks so much better. Like, obviously you won't have Call of the Mummy plus Beast of the Pharaoh combos like Diva as much. So there's that. Maybe you'd still play a Beast, but you'd only play like one Gishilnodon and fit the Thought Ruler. I honestly think even going harder on the Illblood stuff with like Greffer and Supervise would be like preferred. Really. Yeah, something like that. I'd still think you'd want 3 Power Wells, Supervise. You can get into the Illblood off of Future Fusion as well. So maybe like a Future Fusion sort of thing. You could reveal Alloy Beast, Raptinus. You don't have to play Sangan in this build as much. You could probably get away with 2 Krebins. Something like this. Multiple Brute Drago. You wouldn't need the Mistworm because you're not on Beast of the Pharaoh anymore. Something like this would look really fucking scary. Because you just start like anchor monstering Illblood and then just like keep floating into it over and over again with like Brute Drago and shit. It's like, seems really good. Just seems really grindy and like hard to deal with. Especially because you can start putting up like really sticky boards as early as turn 1. I like that concept a lot more than I like the Beast of the Pharaoh concept. But I haven't had a lot of time to work with it, so alas, it is what it is. This is the third replay I'm going to show you with the Beast of the Pharaoh deck. This is against Bluff Knock. We get to go second, but he did just pass Summon Armageddon Knight, and I'm like, well, this Gorz is never getting any easier to play through, so I'll attack for 14. I have Zombie World, so there's no reason not to send Krebins instead of Plague. He's got Gorz, and I'm like, well, alright. At least the token's only 14, right? We got Brain Control, so maybe we can OTK him next turn. Who fucking knows? Pass the turn, he attacks, sets a monster, passes back. So we have a couple of plays here. We could Zombie World, pitch. What's frustrating about this is if I had Plague, I could have made Revived King and then like run over the Treeborn and then stacked for Plague and made Dark End and pop the Gorz. That would have been really good. But I didn't send Plague, so maybe it's not always send Krebins, but I don't know. Anyway, our hand's not terrible here. We've got Brain Control, take Gorz, attack over the token, and then sack for Illblood and pass. I could have activated Zombie World to play around Caius, but I don't know what he's playing. And then we get Caius. And I'm just like, dude, I could have just fucking activated Zombie World, and this wouldn't even be a game. Like, and I'm just sitting here like, bruh. It truly is really frustrating. But that being said, if we did activate Zombie World, he just econs the Illblood, normal summons it, special summons Gorz back from the graveyard, and then attacks us for game. So it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, but forcing someone to have Econ instead of Caius is going to be like, or Brain Control instead of Caius is like, way more frequently are they going to have certain things. We just lose this game, by the way. Yeah, that was a tough game. Everything cost us too many resources. We have Zombie World, we can make Goyo, or we can make Stardust plus Zombie World, and hope this is good enough. He's got Fader. He draws a Monarch. Alright, you got me. What can I do? You drew the Monarch. Anyway, we go next. We get to go first. Pretty nice. Set Goblin Zombie pass. Normal Swap Frog. Send Treeborn pass. Draw for turn is Armageddon. Decided to go for Diva just to get the Diva out of the deck. I think I sided one Diva out. Synchro to Yugioh. Search Illblood. Book of Life. Banish the Treeborn. Synchro to Bryonic. Search Mizuki. Attack for 23. Attack for 28. The reason I sequenced it this way is because I wanted Illblood to go with my Brain Control. And I wanted Yugioh Guardian in play instead of Bryonic if he has Crow for my Book of Life. Because I think having Bryonic in play is worse. Then main phase 2, I use Bryonic effect to bounce itself so that I can make Bryonic later on for a game shot. I don't see a lot of people do that often, but I do it. I don't know. Seemed like the correct play here. 1-for-1. Pitches, Substitute. I wanted to avoid a reversal OTK, potentially where he steals the Bryonic and then makes an absolute 0 or something like that. He goes for this, which is all fine. Turns out he did have the steal effect, so worked out well. Blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. Double dupe, set the back row, pass the turn. Here it comes, boys. Call of the Mummy time. And like I said, like these cards in your hand, these are the cards that are good. These are the cards that like I feel like when you have them, your deck is fucking cooking. Activate Call, Special Illblood. So at this point, I can play through a spell removal, but what else can I play through, right? I go ahead and Mind Control, one dupe. Brain Control, another dupe. Normal Summon Armageddon Knight, send Plague, use the Mizuki to bring out Plague. If he has Crow here, it's kind of tough. But synchro with these three into Stardust Dragon. So now I can play through both Mirror Force and Regeki Break. Stack for Plague, synchro into Armory Arm, and the back row is one Regeki Break, and we have game through that. So as you can see, when you have these types of hands, this is when the deck really starts to shine. It's not the Beast of the Pharaoh stuff so much as it is the Call of the Mummy, Illblood, OTK setups. Those are nasty. They're super, super nasty. And, like, they're so versatile. You can do a bunch of different little things to, like, make it look good. Now, in direct contrast, we've opened up with the Beast of the Pharaoh combo here, and I'll show you exactly how it looks. Swap Frog gets summoned, sends Treeborn, bounce the Swap Frog. Draw for turn is Krebins. Unfortunately, not a Zombie World. Zombie World here would have been great. That would have been the best draw. We can poke with Krebins. It's just going to get fucking Monarched. We can summon Diva now, but there's no reason to wait. I mean, like, it's not going to get easier. If he sets up a dupe lock, it's not going to get easier for me to go for this OTK. So, special, normal Diva, get Diva, bring out Gish, bring out Beast, bring out Android, bring out Beast, Tax, and he's got Battle Fader. So, what can you do? Would have been 5,800 damage. We would have had Brain Control to go for game later. He opened Battle Fader. What are you going to do? He opened Battle Fader in his top 6. Unlucky. What can I say? Treeborn Frog comes out. See, and you can see the board here is pretty resilient. Like, even if he kills both Gish and Android, we still have Beast for follow-up. So it's like +1 combo. Because we end with 7 cards. We started with 6. We end with 7. And the board is pretty, like, it's wide. So he has to answer, like, all 3 of these things in order for us to not be able to come back. Sacks for Caius. Pretty good start. Attacks the Beast. Pretty fucking good start. Main phase 2. Sets the back row. Passes a turn back. Power Well. Brain Control to Caius. Normal Krebins. I'm trying to, like, play through Regeki Break, but if I was trying to play through Regeki Break, Thought Ruler Archfiend would have been better here. So this is instance number 2 where Thought Ruler Archfiend would have been better than whatever else I would have had. So, yeah, making Thought Ruler Archfiend here, plays through Regeki Break, plays through Follow-Up Brain Control. It means Android's going to gain us 12 instead of 6. So it's just so much better than the Stardust I'm going to make. I make Stardust Dragon because I don't have Thought Ruler Archfiend in my extra deck. It is what it is, man. That's what it does. He brains the Stardust Dragon, and I'm like, all right. I'm losing this game because I don't have extra deck slots, but that's how the game works, right? Like, you have to build within the restrictions of a deck, right? So sacks for Vanity's Fiend. We do have Exile Force to out it, but we're just down too much cards at this point. It's pretty much over. Doesn't matter what his back row is. Doesn't really matter what's in his hand. As long as he can just Caius me here, he wins. He sandbags the Caius, which I don't really understand. He should have sacked for Caius, pitch special swap, attack for 34, bounces on Caius. I don't know why he wouldn't do that, but he does it. So yeah, attacks for 1,000, and yeah, we're not able to come back into this game. It's just not possible. We have Dust Shoot. We Dust Shoot him here. We get to see his hand. Lucky Subsido top deck. If it was like a brain control or something like that, we might have been able to mount a comeback, but yeah, alas. So in the top 6 cards of his deck, he had Double Caius, Vanity's Brain, Thought Ruler, or not Thought Ruler, Threatening Archfiend. Oh my god, I can't even speak straight. Threatening Roar and Battle Fader, and a way to get Treeborn Frog in the grave. It's like, perfect mix, man. Perfect mix. It dealt with everything that we had. So alas, it wasn't enough to get the job done. But it was a great game, and it was well played to both players. So yeah, good shit. Like I said, I do think that there's something to this build, and that's why I'm showing it. I showed variations of it on stream yesterday. So if you haven't caught up on that VOD, make sure and go catch up on that VOD. But I do think something more Illblood focused, maybe not supervised, maybe not Future Fusion supervised, but just something Illblood plus Blackroot Drago focused, pretty strong. Because I feel like supervised is a little bit ugly because it only works with Illblood. Maybe not even Greffer. The plot thickens. Maybe even main deck Exile Force. I don't know. There's something here. There's definitely something here. I don't know about Pyramid Turtle. Maybe it's just Triple Diva. I legit, I don't know how to do this. I would have to like sit down and actually test it and figure out the best way to do this. But something about 2-star tuner plus Illblood into Blackroot Drago is really fucking strong. Especially when you can build your own autonomous action units with Zombie World. That is really good. Like, that is really, really good. And Zombie World is a natural hoser for a lot of rogue decks. Amaryllis gets hosed by Zombie World. Frogs get hosed by it. Basically, it forces them to draw an out. What's that other deck? Fairies, Dragons. Dragon Turbo gets hosed by it. So this card being able to be in your main deck is definitely good. There's something here to it. Overall, it is a Teledad deck. So, yeah, 12 days of Teledad going strong. We got 3 more days left. We've got Teledad Amaryllis coming up with the True Party King. We've got another episode from your boy personally, and then the season finale, which hopefully will be one of the most exciting Teledad videos ever made, Kappa. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, smash like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this build. I think that there's something here. I can't put it together myself. I haven't nailed it yet. I haven't figured it out yet. Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.